Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
He met with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we're going to have a couple of speakers here at least. His Holiness Bhakti Nrsimha Swami Maharaj will speak first. Shri Prabhupada Ki Hare Krishna. So we welcome you all at the place of Vidyaspati, who was a brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Lord Krishna himself, before his appearance, he arranged his associates, devotees, to appear in different parts of India and many other places, Jagannath Puri, Orissa, different places. Mahaprabhu's devotees appeared before his appearance. Lord Nityananda appeared in Ekachakra before Mahaprabhu, and then later they met and performed pastimes. So this place, as Maharaj was saying, Vijayanagara was a center of learning, this area. Many people came here to learn from different schools and many pandits. So one of those pandits was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was a teacher. Can you all hear me? You can't hear me. Yes. Now you can hear. You hear the bell. Or you hear me. Your mind is attracted to the bell. They start to present at the moment of death. Yam yam bapish maram baba. Sometimes death is coming. You hear so many people.
Hare Krishna. It's very difficult. The material distractions. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was one of the great scholars, teachers in this area, Vijayanagara. Of course, he is an elderly person, a contemporary of Jagannath Mishra and many other elders in Gaura Leela. After some times, he moved to Puri, Jagannath Puri, where he became an established Pandit at Jagannath Puri temple. So when Mahaprabhu went to Puri, he was totally intoxicated with Krishna Prem. He would stand near the Garuda Stamba and take darshan of Jagannath and fall down in ecstasy and lose his consciousness. So one of the days when Mahaprabhu lost consciousness, he was found by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And he thought, this young man, he took sannyas very early. Maybe he was not ready. And he took him to his house. And finally Mahaprabhu came out of his ecstasy. And then Sarvabhauma, in order to strengthen Mahaprabhu, he thought he needed to educate him. And instead of reciting the scriptures, Mahaprabhu was sitting there, not saying anything. Sarvabhaumacharya, day in, day out, he was talking. Mahaprabhu was just listening. And in the end, Sarvabhauma questioned Mahaprabhu as to why he was not responding. And then Mahaprabhu explained that what you were saying actually is not really the right passages that I expected. And he began to explain the scriptures in his own understanding. And since then, because he was defeated by Mahaprabhu, he realized that this person is no ordinary sannyas, but he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's how Mahaprabhu revealed himself to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He took a position of being a student because he had that desire of instructing Mahaprabhu. So then, he was there at Jagannath Puri with Mahaprabhu as one of his close associates. And then Mahaprabhu decided he was going to travel to South India to liberate more souls there. He was invited by Kashi Mishra and the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Tapana Mishra, and who else? Yes, they invited him to South India. Before Mahaprabhu traveled to South India, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya suggested that there is one great devotee of Krishna in South India. I think you should take his association. His name is Ramananda Roy. Yes. So Mahaprabhu remembered this name, Ramananda Roy. And then finally he met Ramananda Roy. And then they discussed Krishna Katha in great details. So that way, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he played a very important role in Gauranga's pastimes. And very, very wonderful person. And in the end, he was one of those personalities who took care of Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu enjoyed wonderful pastimes with Sarvabhauma. It is said that he was an incarnation of Brihaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods, who came down to the earth to take part in Gaura Lila. So that's Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So this place has produced many, many great devotees and great scholars. And so many you will hear as we move around. There are so many, many, many great personalities that come from this area. Shri Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya Ki, Gauranga Mahaprabhu Ki, Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj. Yeah, just to continue a little bit, speaking more on Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was a great logician and a great scholar of Vedanta, so much so he could teach all the Mayavadi sannyasis. Although he himself was not a sannyasi, all the Mayavadi, because Shankaracharya had his mutt there in Puri. Shankaracharya established 4 mutts, right? Dwarka, Puri, Sringeri, and Badrinath, is it? Huh? Kashi, really? Not Badrinath. Kashi. Okay. I know Sringeri, Dwarka, and Puri. I'm not sure which one in the north, but if you say Kashi, okay. So anyway, Sarvabhauma was the guru to the Mayavadi sannyasis in Puri. So he felt compassion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Young man, we don't have young sannyasis in ISKCON, but all old men. Right? You probably noticed. There's a reason for that. Maybe like Madhvacharya in their line, they give sannyas very young. They have Bala sannyasis. And Shankaracharya took sannyas when he was 8. Where's our young Chinese boys? One is 6. So 8 years old, 8-year-old sannyasi. Similarly in the Madhva line also many Bala sannyasis. Of course they come from very aristocratic Brahminical families. To be a sannyas in the line of Shankaracharya, you must be from a Brahmana family. You must be born in the Brahmana family. Though Vaishnava sannyasis are different. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya spent time teaching Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He thought he didn't know Vedanta, but later on he found out Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew Vedanta better than him. And then of course they discussed the Atmarama Sloka, and Sarvabhauma gave so many, he explained the meaning of the words, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went on to explain many more meanings without touching on the original meanings given by Sarvabhauma. So then Lord Chaitanya revealed Satbhuj form to him. That Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not different from Lord Krishna and Lord Ramachandra. And this way Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood the divinity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he became very much involved in the devotional service. He became a devotee. It was a big sensation. It went all over Bharatvarsh. The guru of the sannyasis has become a Hare Just like sometimes we say, if Jesus Christ was to come down here today, he would be a Hare Krishna. Because Krishna consciousness movement is teaching the real religion. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becoming a follower of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sensation to the world because he was so established. And there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only 24 years old, just taken sannyas, and there he comes to Jagannath Puri and he converts Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya into a Vaishnava. So it was very big preaching. Prabhupada also did a lot of big preaching. When people, sometimes, some very rich men became devotees, became followers of Srila Prabhupada. People like, of course, Ambarish Das, the grandson of Henry Ford, and also George Harrison from the Beatle music group, world famous music group from England, also a devotee, follower of Prabhupada, and many sons of many rich men. Just like there's one devotee, Giriraj Swami. His father was a lawyer. So when he became a devotee, his father was not very much happy. And Giriraj had gone off to come to India with Prabhupada. So his father came to India to see Prabhupada. And he said to Prabhupada, he said, okay, Swamiji, tell me, how much do you want? How much do I have to pay you to get my son back? So Prabhupada said, call Giriraj, bring him in here. So then Giriraj came in, offered his obeisances, and then Prabhupada said, Giriraj, your father wants to take you back to America. And his father said, yes, I have my business. You're supposed to come in the business with me. We have a big legal firm there. You'll make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I'm ready to pay your guru whatever he wants to keep him happy. So Prabhupada said, so Giriraj, what do you think? So Giriraj said, Prabhupada, I won't go. Prabhupada, my mother and father, they always fight with each other. My sister, she always goes off with men to parties every night. I don't want to go back to that life anymore. So Prabhupada looked at his father and said, what can I do? He doesn't want to go. So like that, not only Giri, there are many other similar instances, young men who gave their life and they're still in the Krishna consciousness movement. Giriraj Maharaj, right? You were his servant for 15 years? Yeah. Maharaj, before he took sannyas, he served Giriraj Maharaj for 15 years. Right? You serve a sannyasi, you go on and become a sannyasi in the future. You be careful. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have older sannyasis in ISKCON. You have to be old. we don't have younger, so you have to be old. At least 40. But there's an age limit, right? You must be at least 40 years old before you can even be considered to take sannyas. Because difficult for young men. Srila Prabhupada said, becoming a sannyasi, painstaking. Therefore, we had many young men join the movement. They didn't survive. Prabhupada told one of the devotees that just like in the wartime, many soldiers are sent to the front. They're not all going to survive. So taking sannyas in the Kali Yuga, it's not a very simple thing. One has to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So Srila Prabhupada awarded sannyas to many young men Actually, there was an incident 1976. Prabhupada was giving sannyas to, I think there were 7 young men. And one of Prabhupada's friends was there watching, and he said to Prabhupada afterwards, he said, Swamiji, Prabhupada, they're all very young. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, if we wait until they're old men, what can they do? So that's the point. That was Prabhupada's reasoning why he was giving sannyas to young men. What can they do if we wait until they're old? Give them a chance. Let them do some service for Krishna. But Prabhupada knew it was going to be difficult for them. And similarly, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya knew it was going to be difficult for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. At least he was thinking like that. He did not know the identity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But after he had heard Lord Chaitanya explain Vedanta, and Lord Chaitanya had explained the Atmarama Sloka, and then Lord Chaitanya revealed himself that he is Rama and Krishna, and now he's come in the Kali Yuga with the Kamandalu and the Danda. Right? Not the flute, not the bow, but the sannyasi rod and the water pot, the symbols of a renunciate. So this verse is also there in Vishnu Sahasranam, describing how the Lord comes in the Kali Yuga as a renunciate, to renounce the world and sannyas. So they were discussing like this. On one occasion, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was appreciating his good fortune in becoming a devotee. And he said, before I was tasting the bitter bila fruit, some fruit, very bitter. He said, but now I am tasting the sweet nectar of mangoes in the association of devotees. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was so much appreciative of the association of devotees that on one occasion he was quoting a verse. I think you all know this verse. You can repeat after me. Tate nukampam sushamikshamana Bunjana evatma kritam vipakam Rigvagvapubir vivadan namaste Yo jiveta yo bhakti pradesadaya bhakti. Hey, just a minute. That's not right. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just a minute. What is this? Bhakti pradesadaya bhakti? It's mukti pradesadaya bhakti, right? Not, but Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, no. I don't want to hear this mukti anymore. You know, the Mayavadis, the Gyanis, their goal is moksha. They're always thinking about how to get mukti. But now he'd become a devotee, he didn't even want to hear the word mukti. And he changed the word in the verse to bhakti padesadaya bhakti. But Lord Chaitanya corrected him. He said, no, Sarvabhauma, my dear Sarvabhauma, you cannot change any word in the scriptures. Every word in the scripture, this verse, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam, every word is perfect. And then Lord Chaitanya went on to explain how this mukti also represents Krishna, because one of Krishna's names is Mukunda. Yes, one who gives mukti. That is Mukunda, Krishna. And another reason he explained is that the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is entitled Mukti, liberation. The 10th canto, the Summon Bonum, is all about Lord Krishna, Krishna Leela, the birth of Krishna, then Krishna's killing the demons, Krishna's pastimes in Braja, Krishna's pastimes in Dwarka, everything is there. 10th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's the lotus face of Krishna, the Samman Bonam. The 9th canto is what brings us to the 10th canto. So 9th canto is called Mukti. In this way, Lord Chaitanya was explaining how Mukti brings us to Krishna. He was explaining that every word is perfect there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had another pastime with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. On one occasion, he brought Lord Chaitanya to his home to take prasadam. And that time, his wife had cooked a very big feast because Lord Chaitanya is coming there to take prasadam, so he wants everything to be perfect. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya had one son-in-law named Amoga who was living there. He was the husband of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's daughter Sita. And this Amoga was not a very good devotee. And when he saw Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sitting in front of a big, big plate, so many different preparations, Amoga came and said, "Ha! Just look! What kind of sannyasi is this?" Just simply to fill the belly, he has renounced the world. When Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya heard his son-in-law speak like that, he grabbed a stick and he ran after him. He was so angry. Of course, Amoga was a young man. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, old man. He could not catch him. He ran away to save his life. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya then turned to his wife and said, "Inform our daughter that she is now a widow. I don't want my daughter to associate with such an aparadi, such a heinous offender of the Lord." Right? You associate with people who are not devotees, very bad. Asat sanga tyag e Vaishnav achar. Stri sanga eka sadhu Krishna bhakti ar. The nature of a devotee is they will give up the association of materialistic people. And certainly we have to give up the association of offenders to Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Actually, it said you should cut the tongue out from that blasphemer. If you cannot cut out the tongue, then what? Give up your life, right? Give up your life. So he told his daughter, she is now a widow. Within 3 days, Amoga developed cholera and he was dying. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard, and Lord Chaitanya then went to where Amoga was preparing to leave his body. And Lord Chaitanya came, put his hand on his chest and told him, "Give up this enviousness. Don't allow envy to stay in your heart." Right? Envy, a very bad thing, very dirty thing to keep in the heart. Krishna speaks the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna because he's not envious. And similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam is for those who are no more envious of others. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Amoga, give up this envy. In your heart, Krishna is there. Don't let Krishna sit in such a dirty place. So after Lord Chaitanya put his hands on the heart, on the chest of Amoga, when Amoga miraculously recovered his health, and then when he recovered his health, he would slap his face. "I'm an offender." He would go like that, slapping his face, said, "I'm an offender, I'm aparadi." And became a humble devotee by the grace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So Damodar Maharaj may like to continue speaking something about Sarvabhauma, or else you may like to speak about Archana. This is the process here in Ritu Dweep. Archana. Huh? Vijay Vachaspati. Very good. Okay.
Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chanda Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dutta Chanda Jaya Gura Bhakta Vrinda. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 16, text 207. Give me. Let me to read from there. Vachaspati grihe prabhu ye matera hela loka bido baye aiche kuliya oila. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Lesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Many devotees are not hearing, they are very busy with the coconut. This is not coconut parikrama. Please try to hear. Please try to hear something. Hear something. Something which will elevate our consciousness. For the reason we join ISKCON for. Please hear Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charita Amrita. The three words joined together. Very auspicious. You should hear this. Please don't waste your time with coconut. Coconut you drink every day, and you can buy it with church and read. The nectar inside you cannot buy. And you can read Church Amrita or read about scriptures. You will never get pure love of Godhead. First canto, first chapter, text number 6, purport. So the Prabhupada said, that's Bhagavatam. Prabhupada said, it is better to hear than to read. He didn't say you should not read. Prabhupada didn't say you should not read. He said you should read 2 hours every day. But in this purport, Prabhupada said it is better to hear than to read. So you should hear. Very, very important to hear. So if you read the book, you will not get Krishna. If you want to get Krishna, how do you get Krishna? From? You hear from a pure devotee. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said Krishna is with the pure devotees. He didn't say Krishna is what non-devotees. Krishna is with the pure devotees. Please let us hear. When you hear about these pastimes of Krishna in the place where the pastimes are performed from the pure devotee, it is different from when you read it yourself in the book. They are not the same. So please hear. The prasadam you take every day, is for the body or is for the soul? Huh? The prasadam is for the body. Which one is for the soul? Chaitanya
Charitamrita is for the soul. That is a food for the soul. We have been eating since time immemorial. Not today we are eating, and all species of life are eating every day. Even those who are not working, they eat. Even those who have no money, they eat. So eating business is not so, it's a wonderful thing that we should waste our time with. The business is, Sukadeva Goswami uses the word nivista. Nivista means what? Nectar which you drink from the ear, not from the tongue. You drink from the ear. Nivista. Here. Nectar is from the ear. It enters through the ear. Sukadeva Goswami pour the nectar from the ear, not from the mouth. Then it enters the ear. And then it goes to the heart. That is prasadam. That will give us Krishna prem. So please, hear something. Don't waste your time competing with animals. Eating is what? Eating is what? Competition with animals. You see animals sitting here? Huh? Any animals sitting here? Only human beings are sitting here. Because we have something which is different from animals. What is that? What is that? Intelligence. Animals have intelligence also. Huh? Animals, they have intelligence. You see a tree? If a tree is expanding, if it touches anything which is very hard, it will change direction. What is that? It's intelligence. Are you the one? Is it the scientists who are doing that? Is it a scientist? No, the trees. They're intelligent. So intelligent, it doesn't mean figures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. That is not intelligence. Intelligence is different. One who is seeking for Krishna, that is an intelligent person. One who is very eager to hear. Very eager to hear. So we should be eager to hear. That's what Sutta Goswami is saying in Bhagavatam. First canto, chapter 2. Text what? 16. We should hear about Krishna, about Krishna's conditions. So hear. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was transformed because he heard Chaitanya was speaking. He was speaking so much things. Chaitanya was saying what they are speaking is a deliberate attempt to cover the brilliant song. Why are you doing that? He was shocked to hear a small boy is challenging him. The scripture given by Vyasadeva is so bright like the midday sun, but the attempt is a deliberate attempt to cover the sun which is shining. What is your interest? Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was shocked. So we should hear about Krishna Katha is a food for the soul. When you eat that, Raghunath Das Goswami does not eat, but he was having constipation. Have you had that experience before? Huh? Raghunath Das Goswami does not eat, but he was constipating. How is that? That's a different way of eating. That's a different way. That way Raghunath Das Goswami is following is to hear. Yeah, it's so please let us hear something from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is speaking. The Lord remained some time at the house of Vidya Vachaspati, but then, because it was too crowded, he went to Kulia. Do you understand what I mean by crowded? Do you understand? Crowded means what? This number? This number? You cannot count the number of people that was gathered here. This very place we are sitting today. The number of people that were gathered here, you cannot count them. Why they were attracted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Was it giving them money? What is attracting them? The pure love of Godhead. You are attracted. And we are attracted to coconut. Coconut juice is nectar. Condition sauce. Please don't waste our time like that. Huh? We have left your places, all the far distant places you have come here. Please let us follow this parikrama in such a way that when we leave here, we are not the same person that came here few days ago. We should go back with a changed consciousness. Our minds will be fully conscious of all the places we visited. Parikrama. You know that they have no money to take a bus or rickshaw. It's a very heavy activity for purification. So we need to be purified by walking. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, all the places my Lord Gauranga performed his pastimes, I would like to visit all of them in association of like-minded people. Now coconut people are here, not like-minded. Distraction. This is distraction. Don't create distraction. Let us be space in. Space in is Krishna consciousness. Space out is what? Maya. When the time we join this movement, if we tell a devotee and Maya, that is the last thing any devotee want to hear. But today devotees are very proud to say, probably, I'm in Maya. So let us hear. See, purport. Don't mind me, I'm like that. I'm not a good speaker. The house of Vidya Vachaspati was located at Vidyanagara, which was near Koladweep or Kulia. It was here that Devanand Pandit was residing. This information is found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 21. In the Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka, the following statement is given about Kulia. No, I will not finish. From here, the Lord went to the house of Srivas Pandit in Kamarahata. From the house of Srivas Acharya, the Lord went to the house of Advaita Acharya, where he was offered obeisances by Haridas Thakur. The Lord then took a boat to the other side of Navadvip to a place called Kulia, where he stayed 7 days at the house of Madhva Das. He then proceeded along the banks of the Ganges. The Lord went to the western side of the Ganga at Navadvip, correct? And everyone was pleased to see the Lord coming. I jumped the bridge. This one is sorry. This one. The same? Yeah, the same I'm reading. Yeah, it's the same thing. The Lord went to the western side of the Ganges at Navadvip, and everyone was pleased to see the Lord coming. The Lord suddenly came to Vidyanagara with a full party and stayed there in the house of Vidya Vachaspati. Thus, throughout Navadvip, the Lord's arrival was made known. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at the house of Vidya Vachaspati as stated. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at the Vidya Vachaspati's house, many hundreds and thousands of people went to see him and chant the holy name. Hari! It was so crowded that people could not even find a place to walk. Therefore, they made room by clearing out the jungles near the village. Many roads were automatically excavated. And many people also came by boat to see the Lord. So many came that it was difficult for the boatmen to get them across the river. When Vidya Vachaspati suddenly arrived, he made arrangement for many boats to receive these people. But the people would not wait for the boat. Somehow or other, they crossed the river and hurried towards the house of Vidya Vachaspati. Due to this great crowd, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu secretly went to Kulia Nagara. After the Lord left Vidya Nagara, however, all the people had news of his leaving. They then accompanied Vachaspati to Kulia Nagara. Since the news of the Lord's arrival was immediately broadcasted, large crowd arrived and greeted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a great jubilation. Indeed, when the crowd went to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it increased 10,000 times in number. No one could say how many people crossed the river to see him, but many hundreds and thousands made a great tumult when crossing the river Ganges. After crossing the river, everyone began to embrace one another because they had the good news about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival. Thus all the inhabitants of Kulia, the sinful, intermediate, and spiritually advanced, were delivered and glorified by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed through Kanadaya, Badagachi, and Dogatiya, and then crossed the Ganges before arriving in Kulia. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu walked through Radha days and gradually arrived at the Ganges. After bathing in the river, he crossed it and went to Kulia. Because he had promised his mother he would return to Navadvip, he went to Varakona Ghat, a village near his house. In the commentary of Premadas, it is said, everyone knows that in the middle of Nadia is a village named Kulia Pahadapur. Sri Narahari Chakravarti or Ganasham Das has written in his Bhakti Ratnakar. He said, O Srinivas, just see the town of Kulia Pahadapur, which was previously known as Koladvip. In a book named Navadvip Dham Parikrama, also written by Ganasham Das, it is stated, the town of Kulia Pahadapura was previously named Koladvip Parvata Kyananda. Therefore, one can conclude at the present-day city of Navadvip and the places known as Bahir Radvip, Kolera Ganja, Kola Amada, Kolera Daha, Godakali, etc. were known as Kolia, but the so-called Koliara Pata is not the original Kolia. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki.
Thank you, Maharaj. Now we're going to go to camp, take about half an hour walk, and we have a beautiful camp there. Trees, a lake.